tell me about Allen Iverson?
That's my cousin. He a good player on the court. He got bad behavior. He got a bad attitude. He got a bad attitude. He got a real bad attitude. Sometimes. Talk about my cousin. That's my because sometimes when he came here and talked, he ain't signed no autographs. He just walked off the court. He think he better than everybody. He pushed just one boy from off the limo. You gonna believe it. I take up for him in basketball, but I don't think I'll take up for him in public.
Don't you know no one alive can always be an angel? When everything goes wrong, you see some bad. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh, Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. I try so hard, so please don't let me be misunderstood.
Everybody know why we're here. I'm formally announcing my retirement from basketball. I never imagined the day coming, but I knew it would come. And I'm happy with the decision that I'm making. And it was a great ride.
Allen Iverson could have been the most popular athlete the NBA's ever had.
Iverson all the way.
You can't take your eyes off him.
Iverson in OT. 2 seconds, an open jumper.
He's just pound for pound one of the greatest that's ever played professional sports.
The steal by Iverson, posting in. He won the game. He won the game.
After Michael Jordan, he's like the biggest NBA star in China.
Be as big in France, be as big in Europe.
He crossed race, religion, gender. Women loved him, guys loved him.
Some people get scared of who you are, man. When you got the effect on a whole generation, then all they want to do is dig up some dirt on you.
We need to get to the bottom of this, and the league does as well. This could ultimately impact his big picture legacy.
We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice.
He's got the reputation for what might diplomatically be called ungentlemanly behavior, and she's talking about the cornrows and everything else.
Listen, we talking about practice.
When you're becoming a cultural icon, you're making a lot of people upset.
It suggests that, success, wealth, all that is tied into this gangster prison attitude.
You get paid to get on that mic and talk shit, don't you? Yeah. Don't you get paid?
Allen Iverson in trouble with the law again.
He could be headed to jail.
Gangster rap glorifies a violent lifestyle.
Still calling us hoes, it's calling us niggers.
They're scared to sign a guy because of his reputation. You're not gonna sign him because of all the stuff he's bringing in his locker room and you don't know about it.
I go through it, man. Like, I really go through it. It's like...
Go through what exactly?
Hell. I wish it didn't have to be like that, to have to go through the things that I went through in my life. But I can't cry about that. This is what it is. It was tough being from the project. Sometimes there wasn't no food. Most of the time we didn't have lights or water, and those things were hard, but I didn't look at it like it was something odd. It was natural. Like, I felt like this is where we come from. My mom, she had to do what she had to do to try to help us get out of the ghetto. She had different odd jobs, but she would stay in bingo thinking she was gonna win the world. She told me that I could be anything. So whenever I kind of fell down, I always got back up.
Fine, Mama. Why did you call me Baba? With your grandmother sick.
I don't know my biological father, but I had somebody that took care of me since I was 3 months. My dad was in and out of jail most of my life. I actually seen him get arrested. I was like 13 years old, and I ran outside when I seen him arresting him. I was hurt because I felt like you going back to jail again. You just came out, We miss you, we come visit you, we see you, and it's tough when we gotta walk away, when the visiting hour's over. And then for you to do it all over again, you know, it was kind of disappointing. It was just tough, you know, just trying to stay out of trouble and just stay on a positive path. It seemed like most of the negative things that were going on in my neighborhood was the right thing to do. I was just running the streets and hanging with guys that were 12 and 13 years old sniffing cocaine right by the dumpster. I'll never forget it. And they used to be like, here, Chuck, hit that, hit that, hit that. And I'd be like, nah, man, I'm gonna be an NBA basketball player. I'm gonna be a professional football player. My mom not being there all the time, my dad not being there all of the time. It was tough, but I had friends there, you know, and I saw a lot of things that made me the person that I am now.
I was 7 when we moved into Stewart Gardens. Bubba Chuck, he was 9. The first time I ever met Bubba Chuck, he asked me did I play football, and I told him I didn't know anything about football. Then he said, put the ball like this and just throw it. And I just threw a perfect spiral. He could teach anybody. He just wanted you to be good.
Jamie was cool. He was my little man. The only white boy in a all-black neighborhood. He used to get picked on a lot or whatever, and I used to just look out for him, make sure he was all right.
Bubba made it a lot easier for me, because me and him, we was just best friends.
Bubba took Jamie under his wing and taught him a lot about sports, and Bubba spent the night with us a lot.
I remember one time I was getting waves in my hair, whatever, and I was like, you know what you do, man? You take, you wash your hair in soap, and then you just keep brushing it all the time, man. And you get waves or whatever. And I remember one day just having him in the tub, like had his head down in the tub, washing his hair, and then, you know, put grease in his hair and brush his hair, trying to get a white boy waves. That was my little partner, though.
They got so used to Jamie being one of them after so many years that they'd be playing a ball game in the backyard and they'd be calling him a niggie too, because that's how the black kids talk to each other.
His mom, she was the best. When my mom wasn't home, I couldn't get in the house, something like that, you know, she was right there for me. Cooked for me all the time, you know.
I fried a lot of fish and chicken and pork chops too. He was always a real good kid. He always cared about the younger ones. He always looked out for them. When I was with Bubba, that's what I always saw.
She loved me to death, and vice versa.
This is where it all started, the back of Aberdeen Elementary School. This was my father's field. My dad was one of the people that started the Aberdeen Fathers League. They were guys who dedicated their lives to helping young boys grow to be responsible young men through football. A lot of what Allen knows today was learned on these fields.
Mo meant a lot in our lives coming up. A lot of guys just wanted to get off the streets and get up under him to feel like they were doing something positive.
Allen and some of the other kids needed me to do things that fathers would normally do. I never had a biological son, but I felt that sort of connection with him.
Pick it up, Bobby Joe.
From the moment I met Al, I knew that he was special. He was special to me. Most kids his age would not have been able to handle the things that he's been able to endure. I'm talking about the time that he spent on the streets, the times that he had to feed himself. I felt like God sent me, you know, to him. And when I saw that he looked up to me, I wanted to use that in a positive way. I used to tell him, you're gonna mean to people what people like Martin Luther King meant to people, what Malcolm X meant to people.
I just respected him so much for how he went about his life. He went to work, had a real job. I saw how he treated his only daughter. I just believed in him, and it was easy for me to listen to him.
From day one, he actually wanted to jump right in and play. He wanted to be my star player, and that aggression and that enthusiasm is what I admired most about him. And when I saw him dance and move, completely reverse his field all the way back around and not allow any of those kids to touch him, That's when I really said, wow, this boy is something.
When he was about 6 years old, I saw him steal an inbound play and shoot a shot behind his head, and it fell right down the basket. He kept running, he never turned around. I said, this young guy has a future in basketball.
Bedfield was, tough on me at times. When I got in the van in the morning, he always made me and my friend Snap comb our hair after not combing it for days.
He was several steps ahead of his age group at that time, and you could tell that.
Chuck was always a competitor, hate to lose. When he lost, I had to give him that eye, what I'm talking about, and say, all right now. But he never was disrespectful. Never could you say that he was a disrespectful kid.
He'd be at my house at 6:30 in the morning knocking on the door. Come on, man, let's go to the basketball court. I'm like, Bubba, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. He committed himself to sports. He worked at it and he worked at it because he knew that was gonna be his way out.
When he was in the 7th grade, the high schools had what we call a turf war over him. Every high school in the 2 cities wanted Chuck to come to their school.
But then I failed the 8th grade. I failed the 8th grade, man. That was the most humiliating thing ever. I just wasn't getting it done. Not coming to school till the last period so I could play in the game that night. I didn't like school. I especially didn't like the hours. Most saw the potential that I had, and he saw that I was ruining my life.
There were so many dangers of being young, and being at the wrong place at the wrong time could very easily cost you your life.
And I was headed down that path, just fighting all the time and, just doing negative things.
I knew that it was time for me to be more than a coach to him.
And he came and got me, took me to Hampton, and I lived with him. You went from the projects to a real house. It was a big difference.
I told Al back then, you were gonna always have a room in my house. That middle window, that was Al's room.
We sit up together all night watching football games, watching basketball games, eating popcorn, watching movies, doing stuff together. Mo just didn't never have no money. My dad and my mom would give me $100 at a time. I'd ask them over for some money, it'd be $5, $10, maybe $20 at the most. And, Christmas time, he used to shop for my clothes, and oh man, it was rough. But he would feed me. He would take me to practice. He would take me to school. He would talk to my teachers when they was talking about suspending me. He would go to the school and talk to the people and make sure I got detention instead of them suspending me. I remember getting hugged, and then I remember almost getting thrown through a car windshield when I missed the 69 days at school.
He was just about to lose it all academically.
Mo said, I'm gonna show you how serious I am about this. When he grabbed me and threw me on the car, first of all, I was just shocked. And then you got your friends around and it happened. It's embarrassing and it hurts that much more. The light went off in my head and I knew how serious he was because he never got that mad at me.
He knew that I was willing to go through that windshield with him to help him get the message.
I felt that he loved me and he wasn't my blood.
I wasn't gonna allow him to fail.
Our kids laugh at us and call this the Allen Shrine. We have our own collection of bobbleheads. We were lucky enough to be at his MVP ceremony for the NBA. That was the highlight of our life.
And Iverson cans both free throws. You see Mike Bailey coaching from the sideline.
He was my basketball coach, and she was one of my teachers, so I couldn't escape neither one.
Hi, my name is Allen Iverson. I'm a member of Richard Milburn High School.
He was definitely the class clown kind of kid. He was a kid that would sing on the bus. He was the kind of, but not in class. He was quiet in class.
Respect.
But when he got with his peers, he was a jokester. He was a singer. He was Allen. Most people who really knew him way back when call him Bubba Chuck or Bubba. I called him Bubby one time, and he said, Miss Bailey, now you've got everybody in the world calling me Bubby. It just won't work.
Bethel was like one of the best times in my life. I met my best friend, my wife. For me, that was like love at first sight. She was the girl that I always wanted to meet, and I wanted to be a part of her life.
I've said this many, many times to people that when I really realized how to coach Allen was I learned how to coach with my heart. Not try to outmaneuver him, outsmart him, because that was never going to work.
Good hustle by Iverson. Boy, he's fast.
I played JV in 8th grade, and that transition was easy. I scored a lot.
I asked Mike if he was going to play Allen as a freshman. He didn't usually do that kind of thing, and he said I'd play him as an 8th grader if it were legal.
My 9th grade year, going up to the varsity, I broke my ankle that year, and I didn't do what I wanted to do. But once I got to the 10th grade, you know, that's when everything clicked, you know, football and basketball.
Iverson, always elusive, gets away from another would-be tackler and turns it on. Still wants to throw, now does, and he's got Terrell inside the 10.
He was first-team All-State as quarterback and safety and the best player in the state.
Iverson will take it on the one hop, trying to get a block on the sideline. He does. He's down the sideline looking for one block. He may go. He will.
He played quarterback, ran back punts, ran back kickoffs, and played in the defensive backfield.
And if it wasn't for Allen Iverson, it would have been a touchdown.
Man, he's the best football player that I've ever seen play the game.
Loose ball inside. Green has it stolen by Iverson. Iverson with nobody near him. Look at the crowd.
People would stand in line for hours to get to see him play.
Bubba penetrates. He looks like he's on ice. He just glides in there. Oh! Stolen. Look out!
Once I started getting the national notoriety, that felt good too, just looking in those magazines and seeing myself at #1 in the country.
This is Iverson on the naked bootleg, racing for the corner. Touchdown!
My junior year, we won the state in football, and then we won it in basketball.
The lob, the dunk, the alley-oop! It's over! It's over!
Right after the state championship in 1993, Allen comes running, I come running. I say, I love you, Allen. He says, I love you, Coach. Very special moment in both of our lives.
You wanted this, man. First one. Feel good. Congratulations on 2 state championships.
It was a day that I'll never forget. It was one of the greatest times of my life.
The Brewers have done it.
And then they threw me in jail.
18-year-old Allen Iverson may end up spending the next several years behind bars.
Star football and basketball athlete from Bethel High, Allen Iverson faced 3 felony counts. One of the top high school athletes in the country. He's on trial.
A fight started in a bowling alley. And it's white people fighting black people.
A chair-throwing brawl which injured half a dozen people at this bowling alley.
But it was far more black people than there was white people.
I had friends hiding under chairs, you know, stuff like that kind of scares me.
Is the green light on? Inside? Yeah, you taping it. I'm taping right now.
February 14th, 1993. It's approximately midnight. Myself, Allen, Michael Simmons, and my cousin Dwayne Campbell. We went bowling and just having a good time.
All 3 students at Bethel, friends of Allen, lifetime friends.
Allen had lots of friends, black and white. I mean, I taught at Bethel for a long time, and he had as many white friends as he did black friends.
How you doing, little guys? Little buddies? See y'all later.
That's just the type of person he is. A real great sense of humor.
He was pretty much trash talking out of the crew.
We was bowling. I mean, before hour and a half before everything happened. We was on like lanes 8 and 9. The incident took place around lane 32, 33. Totally on the other end of the bowling alley where the concession stand was at.
I don't even know how the incident got started, because at the time I was on the lane bowling, and I just hate to admit it again, but I threw a gutter ball, and I happened to slip at the time, and I was getting up off the ground. I heard somebody say, "Who was that guy in Allen's face?"
They white guys from Pocosin. If you're from Virginia, you know that some people from Pocosin don't like black people.
Guys would try to, you know, they would mess with him, try to get in his head. And I remember times I had to grab him. I'm like, look, man, there ain't gonna be none of this, man.
I seen was a guy about my height at the time, white guy. So I just, just started jogging down there.
We was there among friends, and friends protect friends when something goes on.
Everybody knew that Allen had the most potential, so nobody didn't really want to see nothing happen to him.
And you don't need this, man. These guys want to bring you down with them.
I seen a chair swinging, and instincts just took over.
The protection came in.
I don't remember exactly how it started. All I remember was just fighting, like just everywhere. While it was going on, I stopped and stood there and just looked around everywhere. And it actually scared me. Like I actually was like, man, I'm out of here.
First thing, I seen chairs flying, bowling alley pins.
My friend Dwayne was like, let's go, let's go. And somehow or another, we ended up getting up out of there. We all just got in the car and just went and got something to eat because we was hungry.
I remember calling Mo and saying, Mo, I was at the bowling alley and this would happen. And right then, he'd tell me today, he knew I was in trouble.
From the moment that he told me that, I knew that there were going to be problems. And I knew at that point that we needed a lawyer. I didn't have a lot of money. And number two, I needed an attorney that was a household name. I was working at Hampton University, and Herb Kelly was one of the attorneys that worked for the university. I thought that if I could get Herb Kelly, then this case could quickly go away. I was sadly mistaken.
One day, he told me the detective called him and told him if I didn't come down there and take these pictures that night, they was gonna arrest me off the floor at the Coliseum, because we had a game that night.
That was a Hampton-Bethel game. That was a game that was gonna be attended by more people that had ever come to see a high school basketball game in the state of Virginia.
And they was like, they're gonna come get me off the floor. So I go down there, me and Mo. I looked at the pictures of these guys. I'm 17, these guys are 25 and 30 years old. Plus people know who I am. I said, look, if I don't take these pictures, what's gonna happen? And they said they was gonna arrest me and charge me with it. So my lawyer, he said, if they're gonna arrest you, just take the picture. So I took the picture. They waited like, I think 8 months, or maybe longer, just so they could try me as an adult.
We were pretty optimistic that the truth was gonna come out and put this thing behind us. But it was that first day in court that led me to believe that this thing was far from over, that these white folks was not gonna allow this to be over.
In the preliminary hearing, my lawyer asked the detective, did you tell him if he didn't take these pictures, you were gonna arrest him? And this is the lead detective. And the detective said, no, he didn't say that. And right then, me and Mo knew something was gonna happen. You know, this is the lead detective. And he lied right there on the stand.
Allen Iverson is charged with 3 counts of maiming stemming from a brawl at a bowling alley.
One guy said Iverson threw a chair at him, breaking his glasses. Other people said that Iverson broke their arm. One person said he broke a thumb. And one Pocosin resident said she received a gash in her head.
70-some people in the bowling alley. How do you pick 4 individuals?
Everyone should have been charged for their occurrence. We asked to press charges. It didn't happen.
I'm the only one that everybody in there know.
Had he not been basically a star at Bethel High, had he not been as well known as he is, then he may not have been identified by anyone. He may have been like the other 20 people who were involved that were not charged.
They found out from family members that there was a tape. And actually, I think they thought that would exonerate because they knew that Allen hadn't been directly involved in this.
If you knew what Allen had on that night, you saw him leaving that tape. As everything was still going on and people were still fighting and things were still being thrown, Allen was on his way right out the door, right in front of the camera. But, of course, that never got brought up.
Iverson's on trial for participating in a mob that maimed 3 people last February.
It was portrayed to be like we was acting like a mob of some sort, like we was some organized team to go in and just beat up white people in a bowling alley that night.
By definition, there is no mob. A mob is an assembled group, assembled before they get to the scene for a specific purpose.
It was just a fight between individuals that happened to be blown up into something that it wasn't.
At 17, to be tried as an adult for a fight in a bowling alley. You'd have to think there was a plan. People wanted to make an example of Allen.
I testified and tried to make them understand that he was a good kid and he didn't cause us trouble. And I didn't think anybody listened to me. I didn't think anybody cared. And I came out of there feeling like he doesn't value someone who's taught 25 years as an expert in this field.
I strongly believe that there was a conspiracy to destroy the future of a young, gifted black person.
This morning, the Bethel High School basketball guard was found guilty of maiming and being a member of a mob.
The verdict was read, and you could just hear a big, oh, just like no time left on the clock. You just missed the free throw to win the game.
We just got, you know, the raw end of the stick.
The question now is, how much time could Iverson spend in jail?
He now faces up to 20 years on each maiming charge.
Up to 60 years on 3 counts of maiming by mob.
I didn't think I was, gonna go to jail or anything like that. I didn't even think I would get probation. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Me and Dwayne was at Allen's house, and we was just talking, and I was just like, yo, I feel we going to jail, Chuck. He's like, no, we're not going to jail.
We don't deserve to go to jail, man. I'm tired of worrying about what's gonna happen and hearing different people tell me what can happen.
And do this and that, and you should have this and that.
And all these people around here trying to tell me what they do and shit.
Those were kids, man. They had no idea. They didn't know racial prejudice. They didn't know these bigots.
If he asks me, I'm gonna be like, first of all, I wanna thank my family and friends for sticking behind me. People in the Swiss program. I wanna thank all the little kids. I'm gonna say. Then again, I want to apologize to my family and friends and me.
They did not know that these people were about to lynch their ass. These people were about to railroad you.
If I would have did all the stuff like he said, if I would have came with y'all, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? The real deal came with y'all, hit the girl in the head with the chair, hit him. You know what I'm saying? I understand why this shit happened. But he know damn well I ain't come with y'all niggas, man.
I really thought that I was being railroaded.
Man, this shit can ruin our whole, everybody's life.
This could turn us to hardcore criminals.
That judge can tear down, that judge can tear 4 black people down right now, just like that, if you want to. That white motherfucker got some power.
Security was very tight here this morning at Hampton Circuit Court. Several deputies and police were on guard.
We seen all the police they had in the courtroom, and I knew right then what was about to happen.
Only Iverson had anything to say before sentencing.
I did feel bad for what happened to the people that night at the court now. So I don't want that to happen to nobody in any situation.
The offense involving Robert Willis. The court sentences you to serve a term of 5 years in prison.
Judge Nelson Overton sentenced Iverson to 15 years behind bars, but suspended all but 5. His co-defendant, Michael Simmons, received 17.5 years, and he suspended all but 5 of that as well.
15 years, 10 years suspended for an incident like that, when people do a lot worse.
The air just totally went out of the courtroom, and then just everybody began to look around. Some people was crying, but it was just real weird and awkward. It just didn't seem like a real life story right now. Didn't seem real at all.
I never thought I'd see the day where adults would do something so drastically wrong to kids.
It's pretty sad.
You differently because you're a star? How do you feel?
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. That don't make no sense.
It was a nightmare. It was really a nightmare.
What did they get? Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
Ann Iverson says she'd like to see her son finish high school.
I don't want him to be in jail that long. I want him to get out, and I want him to go to school.
I think they can be rehabilitated in jail also. I mean, there are programs available. There's a GED program there. Iverson could finish his education. They have recreational facilities. I don't think he'd be any worse off.
I just couldn't believe that people were this mean.
The judge decided that he would not grant a bond pending the appeal at this point because he wanted them, very frankly, to go ahead and to start accumulating credit for the time that they would go ahead and serve.
In all the years that I've been doing this, the only defendants that are not given a bond are capital murderers. Capital murderers, that's people that are going to go to the electric chair.
That was true injustice. And that's why it hurt so much, because it was truly unjust.
I think the guy got what he deserved, and I hope he does every bit of time that he's given.
He was unjustly tried and convicted and sentenced to time in a prison facility for grown men.
I remember telling my grandma, like, Nana, if I didn't do what these people said I did, why is God letting this happen to me? And she told me, and I never did it since then, never questioned God. I had my life, my family, and the game that I love so much taken away from me. I think I just learned so much from it. You know, it taught me a lot at an early age.
Mr. Iverson would be awakened at 4 o'clock. He would shower and shave or whatever he needed to do to prepare for that day. This is a working camp. You are here to work. And we cut all the grass, 27 miles, anything green and is not moving, we cut it.
He used to kill me, man. You know, I might have to be up at 6. He'd come waking me up at 4 in the morning.
I would come in and he knew it would irritate me. He would sing a cop killer song. I would put my life on the line for anybody here, and to belittle that killing of a police officer, it made me think just another punk from the streets.
He made it extremely hard for me.
People would pass notes to him saying that I wish you were dead. I hope your black ass rot in prison. The jailers would bring him a doll with a noose, and written on that doll was Allen Iverson.
I had lawyers every single day that I was talking to them. They were telling me that you're getting out tomorrow. Then tomorrow would come, and they say you're getting out tomorrow. I remember just being frustrated, and one of my friends came up, and he said some of the best advice that someone could ever give me. You're not getting out of here. So stop thinking about it and do what you gotta do, handle what you gotta handle, and get back to what you love to do. It made it so much easier for me to do the time because I had in my mind that I wasn't going nowhere.
Hampton residents have formed what they call the Swift Legal Defense Fund.
There was a very vocal support for those kids. It didn't do any good, but there were marches.
Mr. Iverson received a sackload of mail by himself. Ladies were sending him their unmentionables, and they were sending him money. They were sending him gifts. Interviews were requested. I know Mr. Tom Brokaw was allowed to interview him.
Tonight we have the story of what has happened to a young man who was headed for $1 million future, but now he's in jail.
It was one of those classic cases. Here's a kid with a gift of the gods as an athlete, and a community where they'd still not worked out all the racial issues, obviously.
I prepared myself for the worst. If I had to do this whole time in here, I just had to deal with it.
I thought the sentence was surprisingly harsh, and I think that our story had something to do with people looking at the case in a slightly different way because it got national attention.
I got a lot of love for NBC, Tom Brokaw. I mean, he did a lot for me, and I appreciate him. I owe a lot to him for that.
Allen Iverson is tasting freedom tonight for the first time in months.
The high school standout has been handed conditional clemency by Governor Doug Wilder.
Our governor pardoned Allen. You know, his rule was he couldn't play sports. Who cared? He could go to school. I think it was a relief
for the officers because the news media would be gone, the calls would be gone, all the mail that we received would be gone, and hopefully no more women's underwear.
Hey, Alan, how do you feel? How do you feel, Alan?
Are
you glad it's over?
Governor Wilder gave me another shot at life. You know, if it wasn't for his signature, I might not be here.
As for the other 3 young men, Governor Wilder is considering clemency for them as well. Ed?
Hey, yo, D, come around the crib, man. We was out, and there was hugs and dapping each other up, and let's go to the mall. I need some new clothes.
After I was incarcerated, I never even thought about dwelling on that night ever again, honestly, because the damage to me was already done.
I've got so many bags of letters from football and basketball coaches all over the country. But when this happened to him, they stopped calling.
All I thought about was getting a second chance. That was it.
It was almost like no one expected him to ever amount to anything.
I knew that there would be somebody, there would be some school that would come to him, and all I needed was one.
I never recruited Allen at all. They recruited me. I was a little reluctant in the beginning, and his mother asked people to leave the room, and she and I talked, and she was concerned for his life, and she said that. I certainly, being a parent myself, could connect with that. Being an African-American, I could connect with that.
This is my son. What they call you? Shut the other thing. Honeyman.
She, more than anybody, convinced me that if it was any possibility of getting him in school, that I ought to take a shot at it.
Coach Thompson saved my life. I just came home from jail. I had to come home and get my school thing together and graduate and whatever, and then I went straight there.
I was worried. Certainly you're worried. You know, you have responsibility to protect the university, protect your program, and you're taking a chance. I respected the path he's had to take in life, which has been a very tough path.
The Georgetown years, I really just took a step back because I knew John Thompson would come in and take over. Where I left off, he would come in and take over.
My idol, my hero, the father figure away from home. He kept people away from me, and he let me be a college student.
I didn't necessarily agree with everything about him, and I'm certain he didn't about me, but I like to think that we both respected one another.
He never was the type of guy to jump on me, especially in front of people. Never did that. But when I messed up in school, and he put himself on the line for me to come there and be successful, when we got along, he got it in my ass. This is what you want out of your life, huh? Want to go back down there to that hood. You want your mom to struggle her whole life, don't you? You want your sisters to stay in that sewer, that hellhole. That's what you want out of your life, huh? And automatically, man, I would shape up.
I want you to stop right off, so play me closely.
Once I saw how he acted in school, how he acted with his teammates, I was very, very glad that I had rolled the dice.
It was like that force field I had around me when everybody was coming at me with all the negative things.
People did things. Folks said things you wouldn't want to hear about his being incarcerated. Those weren't things that bothered him outwardly. I'm certain he heard them, but I knew that this was a tough kid mentally, and that's the same thing that happened when he played.
What's your name?
What's my name? Michael Jordan.
It is Scout Night as they take a look at two of the very best in the country in Ray Allen and Allen Iverson.
You don't look at somebody that's flyweight like Allen and associate that with strength, but he's proven that theory totally wrong.
Is that 1-2-1-1 pressure? Iverson. Allen Iverson right out of the gate. Here we go. Length of the court drive the other way.
And he gets to the basket. He's so explosive. Give a little daylight.
Now Iverson around the track. Inside.
Oh, what a big-time move. Super scintillating, sensational.
13 Husky.
Oh, nobody stopped.
Iverson.
Oh, up and away, Jam City. Nobody stopped the ball, Brad Nessler. Nobody stopped the ball.
Again, and another steal by Iverson.
He throws it away. Allen Iverson with that one hand.
Now it's Iverson alone.
They get a good shot right here. They get a good shot right here. Look at that bounce. Like a small league, like a big ball.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Allen. Congratulations, John Thompson. Great performance tonight.
Coach Thompson meant everything to me. He's a big-time reason for all the success that I've had.
After carefully weighing my options with Coach Thompson and my family, I decided to enter the NBA.
I felt like there was no reason for me not to be able to take care of the people that I love.
My immediate family requires me to leave Georgetown.
No, when he left early, I didn't think it was a wise decision, but I supported him with it. I never, under any circumstances, worried about his ability to play basketball. I worried about the other 22 hours in the day. I was in the NBA. I know the kinds of things you're exposed to. I worried for him in terms of whether he was mature enough or old enough to deal with it and to handle it.
Please welcome the answer, Allen Iverson. You got criticized for leaving school early.
I had to leave. Like, my sister was suffering from seizures, and she needed a personal specialist. So that I thought about a lot of that before I made my decision. And my coach stuck with me. I mean, he said, go take care of your family. And that's how I look at the thing with these kids, man.
You know what's bug, too? I always think they pick on the basketball players when they leave school because they're black. Because Tiger Woods ain't going to school. Nobody gives a fuck about that.
When we had the chance to sign Allen in '96, we thought this could be big, this could be really something different. I never forget the famous boardroom meeting we had where the head of the company said, you know, well, isn't there going to be another Allen Iverson another 5 years from now? And I remember a couple of us looking at him and saying no. He walked in the room and he had this incredible confidence. Like, he knew he could play at this level, and he knew he was going to be something special in the league, and you could just feel it without him even saying anything.
This is an exciting time for me in my life. My birthday. The draft is a couple weeks away. I've just joined the Reebok family. But most important, I just feel that this is my planet.
In sports, it's D-Day for the NBA. The league is holding its annual draft tonight, with Philadelphia owning the #1 pick.
Everyone in Philadelphia wanted me to pick Iverson with that #1 pick. Truthfully, I wanted AI because he was a scorer. He was just a warrior. I love warriors.
With the first pick in the 1996 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Allen Iverson from Georgetown University.
Dreams come true. Be the first pick, it meant something to me because all of them used to laugh. Like, whatever, man, don't nobody make it from Newport News to the NBA.
Draft day, we had this party at the Spectrum, and it was packed, mob. And when we made the announcement, the 76ers, with their #1 pick Allen Iverson, the place went berserk. It was like someone stepped on a detonator, and all the explosion of energy and pride came back into the city and into that franchise just with that 1 pick.
Making it to the NBA is a dream come true. Being from where I come from every day is a good day for me.
We've gone through so much. All of the years and all of the things that he had to overcome. When I hear, and finally, a 6-foot guard from Georgetown, Allen Iverson, bring tears to my eyes, man, because that is a culmination of everything.
I remember saying to him, Allen, this is up to you and I. We got to resurrect this franchise.
Is there anybody that can stop you one-on-one?
I don't know. I hope not. I don't think so.
Allen Iverson brought a lunchbox mentality. Dive on the floor, sweat, cry, bleed.
Punch it.
Philadelphia loves that.
I had a bet with my cousin how many times he's gonna hit the floor tonight.
That was only one.
That's the first time.
That's it.
I got 3. I got 3. I go.
Did the answer, you're the ankle breaker. One time, you Jerry played the Knicks, and Charlie Ward was stapling his sneakers on.
I proved what I could do. So I want my respect just like everybody else in the league.
The baddest move you ever made was the one against Jordan. It was incredible.
The best crossover was against Michael Jordan.
Did you see when he crossed Michael Jordan up?
It was a rookie that year.
My crossover is my patented move, a move that's hard for people to stop. My first step is kind of quick, and people respect it. So when I take that hard jab in one direction, either you gotta let me get by you, or you gotta try to beat me to the spot. That's when I take it the other way. When I grabbed the ball, I heard Phil Jackson yell, "Michael." Once he came out there, I was gonna put my move to the test. I gave him a little cross to see would he bite on it. I let him set his feet, and then I stepped it back again.
Oh my God.
I lost my shorts when he did that. I jumped in the air on high five. The whole place went wild.
We said to ourselves, he's here, he's arrived.
The best player I ever seen was Michael Jordan. The best player right now, in my eyes, is myself.
Allen Iverson is the 1997 NBA Rookie of the Year. He's the first Philly player to win the award.
To be able to come in this league and do some things that not too many people have done, it was a great feeling.
Introducing the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, Larry Brown. Yeah.
For the team to win, we needed this all-star coach and this all-star player. Both of them highly talented, highly sensitive, highly headstrong individuals that come from two different worlds. Doo-wop versus hip-hop.
Here we go. All the breaks. You want me in front, right? There we go.
I'm a white Jewish coach from Brooklyn. There's no similarities, but I think I'm every bit as competitive as Allen.
Being with Coach Brown and being so young, you know, a lot of the riffs that we got into, 99% of them were my fault, honestly.
The first time I met him, I saw him acting silly as a player during a game, and I said, "You don't need to be like that." And he kind of looked at me.
Allen craved discipline because he was brought up in a chaotic atmosphere. He would stir up chaos on the court and off the court.
Being rebellious, just trying to fight. If he go one way, I'm gonna go the other way.
I just thought he was a young kid that had a special gift and really didn't know how to use it.
Both of us wanted the same thing as far as winning, but he wanted me to do things different than I wanted to do them.
Every time I ever took him out of the game, he would walk by the bench and mumble something under his breath that if I was in the park, I'd have to fight him.
I didn't even put nothing over my mouth. That's the young immaturity.
I knew he didn't mean anything by it. That was just his competitive nature.
We clashed at times, but the love was always there because I knew he cared about me.
For Allen to trust is not as easy as it would be for anybody else. That's always been an issue with him because of who he is and where he's from and what he had to go through.
To get into his circle, you have to earn that right. Probably took me 5 years to earn that right. But he has to realize that you're telling the truth.
With Allen, there were issues all the time.
When he missed practice, I was the one that suspended him in Miami and in Boston. Now, Larry Brown doesn't like to be the bad guy. And I walked in, he goes, "Take care of your kid." He missed practice. I'm thinking, oh, no.
He might break your heart in terms of coming to practice every day on time. But when you know every single night, whether he's hurt or not, he's going to lay it on the line for you, that's the thing that's most special for me. Things that happen being involved with him, nobody trains you for that.
It's a growing process. All of us, we getting better. I mean, we've been poor for 20 years plus, and I mean, I finally came into some money now. You know, I want to live a little bit now. You know
you living, baby, you living.
The whole world wondering how much Boba took banking, man.
The world gonna keep on wanting to know, because I ain't telling them shit. Y'all know it ain't no joke. My pockets ain't playing. You believe what I say when I tell you. Becoming rich just out of nowhere after being poor all your life is something new to you.
And I didn't know how to handle a lot of stuff. Man, it's my birthday. I mean, you know, I gotta treat myself to something, man. I look out for everybody else. I gotta do something for myself, you know what I'm saying?
I knew that he had been deprived of a lot of things in his life. I just hoped that he would mature and get to the point that he wouldn't be hurt by that.
We don't train these kids to handle the responsibilities they have. You put anybody in their position, they're not all going to handle it the right way right off the bat.
A promising young pro basketball player is facing legal problems this morning. Police say Philadelphia's Allen Iverson, the NBA Rookie of the Year last season, has been charged with marijuana and firearms possession.
There's a lot of negative things in my life that I try to get rid of, but they always stick around. Like, it's like you can hide from the devil, but he gonna always find you.
He was in a car that had pot and a gun, and the driver was speeding. He wasn't speeding, he was in shotgun, but he got arrested, and they put him on probation.
I got 2 jumps. Allen is loyal. If you're down with him, he'll do anything for you. And sometimes I think the loyalty had him keep people around that maybe he shouldn't have.
Now you just said, you know, they judge you because of who you hang around with. Is your posse just ill?
They've been through a lot of things in their life. I mean, I can curse, can I?
Yeah.
I mean, they fucked up just like everybody else. You know, they make mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't come out of Georgetown appealing to the hip-hop culture. This is just what evolved.
He wasn't all tattooed up like he is now. He didn't have the cornrows then.
The tattoos, the cornrows, were things that basketball players wanted to do, but didn't think they could.
To me, how you look is how you play. I used to make myself up to look not only just like a basketball player, but look like a superhero. A skinny one, but a superhero. You know, nobody would do this, nobody would do that. That's how I used to come up with it.
We were extremely close, but there was an extreme difference in ages. And those were some of the things that I had to become accustomed to.
You have 21 tattoos. Tell us why. What do they represent to you?
Everything that means something. Strength, loyalty, prayer hands, my kids, is my life.
Back then, when he was doing it, it was like, oh my God, what's an NBA player gonna look like with tattoos on the court? Because it just didn't really exist. But it's okay to do it now because he did it.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here.
I think Allen's tats are a statement. He's a rebel with the cause. The cause is Allen.
I used to tell him that you're going to influence the minds of others, like Martin Luther King did and Malcolm X. And I lived it and I saw it.
Allen Iverson is one of the true representatives of what hip-hop stands for and what it's about in this country. Be unapologetic. Be who you are.
I just express myself, and you know, hopefully the generation that comes after me can be able to do the same. Can't you see?
So much ready, what time is it? And I just love you. Daddy, what time is it? Can't you see?
He came in, his style, his way. You ain't really gonna find nobody like that besides myself.
He made hip-hop and basketball really come together. He was the bridge.
We take where we're from, and now we have outlets. Television becomes an outlet, magazine covers become their outlets, and now it's out to the world.
Over here, it just seemed different. It seemed like everything was so positive. I thought it was just the basketball part of it, but I'm finding out people love who I am off the basketball court. I didn't know I had this many fans here. I can't explain it. My little friend is Yao Ming. The people embrace me, the way I handle myself, my style, my look. Man, that was great. Just wish my wife and kids could have been there to see it. But I'm pretty sure we'll have some video footage for them. I'm pretty sure you're gonna hook us up.
I've never coached an athlete that I think more people wanted to know about loved than Allen. Little kids all over the place would always come up to me and say, "You're Allen Iverson's coach. You know, I want to be like Allen."
Okay, I got all the sneakers, everything. No, I got all the...
It's my favorite player, and he's the best player ever to me.
Allen was a role model. Good or bad, he was a role model.
He was a person that was so real. The tats, the cornrows. Like, this whole thing was just like, this is who I am. And people loved him for that. But it's a gift and a curse.
The way Allen carried himself, the way he dressed, some people liked it, some didn't.
It's important that the players take their end of it, get out of the prison garb and the, the thuggery aspect of basketball that has come along with hip-hop music.
When everybody started looking like I look, the cornrows and tattoos and baggy clothes, that was just a great, great feeling. But it was bittersweet because I had to take the whipping for it.
Robin Gibbon writes in the Washington Post today, she said, that's the body language of a thug, and he's got the reputation for what might diplomatically be called ungentlemanly behavior, and she's talking about the cornrows and everything else.
It suggests that, success, wealth, all that is tied into this gangster prison attitude, and I just think it's a negative, poisonous message.
If he wants to express himself with tattoos or with hairdos that are different from you would like to wear, or wear jewelry that maybe you wouldn't wear, or wear outfits that you wouldn't wear, that doesn't make him bad, just makes him different.
Because he's from the hood.
Yeah, he keep it gangster. He keep it gangster.
He's a warrior. He's truly a warrior. You gotta love him.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
Because he's cute.
I clearly thought that they looked at him and decided that's not where they wanted to be. Something had to be done if you're looking 9, 10 years down the road.
When Commissioner David Stern instilled that dress code, I'm thinking, uh-oh, this isn't gonna fly with Bubba.
Under this new policy, off-court, in public, the pros are expected to wear business-like attire. No more chains, pendants, medallions, headbands, or headgear of any kind.
I think they're just targeting guys that look hip-hop, guys that dress like me.
Maybe it's unfair, but I don't think he truly understood the effect and the impact he had on so many young kids. If he knew that, I think he would have done things differently in a lot of ways.
He got into a period where he was larger than life and he was kind of hard to control. You know, he wasn't showing up for things. He was really late for things. He wasn't really respecting the relationship. We were in Coney Island one time shooting the spot. We had 2 scenes left. It was kind of chilly out, you know, it was around 6 o'clock. And then he's like, yo. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, yo, I'm out. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you're out? Like, we got an hour and a half left, and we're gonna finish this great commercial that's gonna be a great look for you. This product looks great. Like, what are we talking about? And he's like, I'm out. And then he literally like calls to one of his boys, and he leaves. And you know, this is not a like, okay, everyone come back tomorrow morning. This is permits, this is a crew, this is money, this is a big problem, right? He's got a great soul, and he's a great person. But he was just in this space where like, he didn't give a shit about any obligations.
Magic had a bad TV show. Shaq did a Genie movie. How are you gonna embarrass yourself?
You have to be tolerant up to a point, and then you begin to ask, when is it doing more harm than good? When is it more than just a personal statement?
Man enough to pull a gun, be man enough to squeeze it. Damn if you don't believe it. Anything to do with millions, I'ma be with it.
Somebody could do a rap album like the rap album that I made, and you wouldn't hear nothing about it.
I'm a bastard case. Your fucking hands with my gas in your face.
But Allen Iverson can't do it.
I was disappointed in the lyrics because of his power to promote a positive message. I was disgusted with the lyrics because they didn't look positive to me. And we had a conversation, and he didn't understand exactly what I was saying until the backlash from everywhere else came upon him.
This offends me as a black woman, still calling us hoes, bitches, and sluts. It's calling us niggers.
The album is weak. The lyrics is whack.
He need to stay with basketball. He's rapping out his thing.
We're not interested in legislation. I'm not interested in regulation. I'm not interested in starting a boycott. I just want them to stop.
John Thompson better speak to Allen. I think he needs to speak to the brother.
I was early 20s. I never looked at how much of impact that I have on people. Kids that love everything about Allen Iverson, we're gonna listen to it. But back then, you know, I didn't look at it that way. If you're a hardcore hip-hop fan, then this album is for you. If you don't care about hardcore gangster rap, just don't buy it.
Yo!
2001 was a very special season because before it, in the summertime, he was going to get traded. And I called him. I said, Bubba, I got a call from Larry Brown and Billy King. They're going to trade you. I want to tell you, you're going to get traded. He's, Pat, no, man, no, listen. I said, well, listen, I can't defend you anymore. I can't, if you're not going to live the talk, I can't defend you. If you're not going to be on practice on time and strength train and lead its team and not curse the coach and do, if you're not going to do all this, Pat, I promise. I want to, so much so I want to be captain. I want to be captain with Eric Snow. I said, listen, if you do half of what you just said, we'll be champions. I called Larry Brown and said, you're not going to believe it. I want to tell you exactly what he just said. Now, the trade didn't go down for other reasons, but thank goodness the trade didn't go down.
I always looked at basketball as just a game and never looked at it as business. And I found out the hard way, but, you know, at least I did recognize it before it was too late.
It started off with a 10-0 beginning.
I think we won our first 10 games. We were going great.
Everyone and their mother was wearing Allen Iverson jerseys.
From the Philadelphia 76ers, Allen Iverson!
The All-Star game is when I lost all my professionalism, because I lost my mind.
Bryant for Kidd, intercepted by Iverson. 3-on-2, Iverson to the reverse.
Little pass to himself. We've seen two spectacular plays by Allen Iverson already, playing off the ball.
Iverson, Allen Iverson beginning to heat up.
They were down like, I think, 22 going into the fourth quarter. He willed that victory.
It's only a 7-point game with 4.5 to go. Iverson, does he get the continuation? Yes, he does.
He never gave up. Hustling, stealing, making people work.
Iverson for 3.
And I'm up there yelling, that's what I'm talking about.
Now to 3. Marbury trying to get to Bryant. Duncan came up short, and it's over. The East comes from 21 down.
This is why you love this cat, because he can do stuff like this.
Marv, that's one of the best All-Star games I've ever seen. Just the big plays, getting back in the game.
Every time I come in this gym, in this arena, I hear my favorite song. You know, y'all voices.
I can't imagine a player having a better year than Allen. It just seemed like everything was just going the right way.
The NBA had to wait for the final night of the regular season to crown a scoring champion. Philadelphia's Allen Iverson scored the season's average of 26.8, a half point more than Shaquille O'Neal.
Everybody says to me, well, Allen took a lot of shots and he was selfish. I wanted him to shoot 40 times a game. It was the only way we could win.
It is my pride and pleasure to introduce to you the NBA's most valuable player, our answer, and now the world's, Allen Iverson.
I wanted the relationship that Michael Jordan, I'm sorry. So I let y'all know I've been talking for 10 minutes. I'm still up here nervous. I wanted the same relationship with him like Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan had.
Allen Iverson proves to people that dreams do come true. Here's a guy who was in prison who ends up the MVP of the NBA, the best player on the basketball court in the world. Tell me dreams don't come true.
Now, you know, my goal, you know, every day is just working to get what he got and what he's holding right now. You know, all I care about is the championship trophy.
Are you going to dethrone the Los Angeles Lakers?
Hopefully. That's the way I draw it up in my dream.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful to see and believe and expect that we were going to win it all.
That's marketing. That's perfect marketing. He's talking smack, I'm talking smack, they market that.
They are ready for the start of the NBA Finals. The Lakers coming in with 19 straight wins, going against a Sixer team that was taken to the limit by the Bucks.
You know, everybody already counted us out. We're just gonna keep playing hard, and whatever happens, happens.
Shaq just powering.
Kobe for three. The Lakers in the midst of a 14-0 run.
Shaquille O'Neal is possessed right now. Kobe Bryant is an all-league defender. Knocks that ball loose. Terrific defense that time by the Lakers.
All the things that I had to endure in my life, all the obstacles I was faced with, whatever it is, I'll fight through it. A weak person will break. They'll give up. That's just not me. Where I'm from, only the strong survive.
This guy has such courage.
Iverson again.
He is fearless.
Allen Iverson.
He is so fast out in the open court. He just turned on the burners and ran right past him.
Allen Iverson on fire.
Amazing.
The 76ers with the ball down by one. Iverson for three. Yes. Iverson bothered by Lou. Iverson.
How about that?
Steps over Teron Lou. And the 76ers pulling off a stump in game one here. Iverson finished with 48.
I believed we were going to have that parade. Well, when we didn't win it all, obviously it was disappointing.
We never would have had a chance had it not been for Allen. Nobody had a better year than that kid that year.
A negative story about Allen Iverson is going to sell regardless. I hear those things, and I would be lying to you if I tell you it doesn't bother me. But if I know, and the people that's close to me know, why do I have to explain myself?
Allen Iverson's life is a book that he has always refused to open. And by refusing to open that book, I think people just say, how dare you? And as crazy as it may sound, and as untrue as it might be, as long as it sells newspapers and gets people to look at my television station, we're gonna say just about what the hell we wanna say about you.
Trouble of a different sort tonight for one of the National Basketball Association's biggest stars.
Allen Iverson in trouble with the law again.
He could be headed to jail.
Facing the possibility of some years behind bars.
I got in an argument with my wife, cussing each other out, all kinds of stuff that ain't none of y'all business, but you know what it is if you're in a relationship with somebody.
According to police 911 tapes, Iverson threw her out of their suburban home the night of July 3rd.
Man, they even said I threw my wife out naked.
She was not dressed at the time.
Why would I expect somebody to look at me as a man if I did that to my wife?
Philadelphia police say the 27-year-old basketball player burst into his cousin's apartment.
Pulling out guns and stuff.
Where you pull a gun at?
He did have a gun. They said it on the news.
He was armed with a gun. They come looking for a gun 5 days later. Like the gun's still gonna be in the house if I had one.
Were guns found or guns used in this alleged crime?
No, I don't have that information.
It seems as though Iverson didn't necessarily brandish the gun, but he perhaps had a gun in his waistband.
They got helicopters flying over my house all day. They got media people in front of my house with lawn chairs and cooking out with cameras.
Girl, get out of my face with that crazy stuff. That's rumors. Where you get that from? Because somebody told it to you? Did Tawana tell you that?
Yeah.
Did Tawana? Don't ask me nothing. Did Tawana tell you that?
I haven't spoken with Tawana.
All right, then. Don't go there with me. Don't go there with me. Don't go there with me. You want to keep it real, you keep it real with me. Because I ain't for no games, okay?
Well, okay.
Dog, they love you right now. They love you right now. But please believe me, the first incident, the first time something happened, they are waiting, man. They're waiting, man. They're waiting. They're waiting, man. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice.
The media builds you up to break you down, bottom line. That's the nature of the game. If anybody tells you any different, they're lying.
We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that?
I've never heard anybody interpret that honestly.
I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice?
That's that soundbite that's going to define him. That for Allen Iverson was his I Have a Dream speech with Dr. King.
They used that to portray him as a person who didn't like practice. That was not what he was saying.
Your entire being now, your whole character is going to be this.
Hang on a second. He's starting right now.
I fight to represent Philadelphia. That's how I became a household name. And every single year, after every season, you know, I got to hear trade rumors, stuff like that about getting me out of there. I just came from the meeting with those people, and I was upset. It was bad advice, and it was a stupid decision that I made. This is what happened when you lose, you know? You go to the finals, and then the next year, you're out in the first round. This is what happened, you know? I went in and talked to Coach, and I wasn't going anywhere. That's what I thought the press conference was going to be about.
Allen, could you address what Coach's concerned about your practicing habits? We don't get a chance to see you practicing. Can you clear the air about all that?
Anybody tell you that I miss practice, if a coach say I miss practice and y'all hear it, then that's that. Every question came, they were talking about missing practice, not missing practice, how many practices did I miss?
So you and Coach Brown then settled the issue that he brought up on Saturday about practicing?
And my response was, we talking about practice. Why are we talking about practice? Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
What in fact he was saying is we're spending the time in this interview to discuss practice. He was not saying that practice is unimportant.
There's no way I could be an all-star, I could be an MVP, you know, if I didn't practice. You see me play, don't you?
Absolutely.
You see me give everything I got, right?
Absolutely.
But we talking about practice right now.
But it's an issue that you're
we talking about practice.
I was already gone, but I happened to be watching the news, and I see him saying, practice, practice.
We kept saying practice, like it's only practice.
I ain't saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's why we in here having this talk, because of practice.
I knew what he meant. You're getting all over me for practice, and how about the game? But I would have grabbed him and took the hook right off there, made sure he got right off that dais.
Okay, guys.
It don't have to, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere.
Yes, it was great for the press, but no, it wasn't good for him.
Nobody looks at the whole comment that Allen made and what he was talking about when he made that comment.
I'm upset. I'm upset for one reason, man. Because I'm in here. I lost. I lost my best friend.
He was talking about his boy dying.
Ron was a very close friend of ours who died a very vicious and violent death. Of all of the people that died in Allen's life, I think it hit him hardest with Ron.
I lost him, and I lost this year. Everything's going downhill for me, as far as just that, you know, as far as my life. And then I'm dealing with this right here. I don't want to deal with this, man. I don't want to go through this shit.
My boy just died the other day, and you all are talking to me about practice. That's the whole comment. Go back and listen to the press conference. That's what he's talking about.
Try to deal with what I go through in my life. My best friend, dead. Dead, and we lost.
That's the entire, but did anybody? No. No, not at all. And that's the crest of how the media looks and treats Allen Iverson.
Because of his candor, because of the aggressive way in which he will really express himself, people can conveniently turn. That's what I worried about.
Y'all talking about what's gonna make me a better basketball player? When you understand that people human just like you, then that'll make you a better person. I'm trying to get better. You need to also. It's something that my teammates joke with me now and other guys on other teams. As soon as you mention practice, first thing a guy would say is, we talking about practice?
We're talking about practice. To quote the great Allen Iverson, practice.
If somebody else, you know, one of the quote-unquote good guys would have said something like that, it wouldn't have been a big thing, but it's me. We talking about practice.
They would not play that full track. They'll play the soundbite.
Allen Iverson could have been the most popular athlete the NBA's ever had. And I think sometimes his pride got in the way of that.
If you don't want to go through what I go through right now, as far as being the bad guy in the NBA and all this stuff, be fake then. Basically, that's all I'm telling you. Just be fake.
But you're not fake.
And I'm not going to do it. I'd rather not be in the NBA.
Before you can have true honor, there must be humility. Allen played the game with a tremendous amount of honor and loyalty, but you haven't seen all of the humility.
Allen Iverson has worn out his welcome in the city of brotherly love. The Sixers decide they're better off without the #2 scorer in the league.
I want to be a Sixer. I've said that since day one. But, you know, if I'm not wanted, then I definitely don't want to be a Sixer. You know, and I'm willing to start my career all over. I just wanted to go somewhere to where I can feel appreciated for what I do out there on the basketball court.
Alan, happy to be in Denver?
Yeah, definitely happy. Took a while. I'm happy.
Happy to be here,
Definitely.
He is a passionate kid that wants to win, understands team, has good leadership skills.
Get down, baby. I'm just looking forward to it. Be able to just concentrate solely on trying to win the championship. And I want to win right now.
I clearly felt Denver would be the place that it would all conclude. Allen would win a world championship, one day retire, raise his family, and live happily ever after. But that wasn't the case. Denver had decided that they would not offer Allen an extension. Does that make the team bad? No, that's business. But had we known more about the business part of the game, I think that this story would have turned out a whole lot differently.
Allen Iverson's one of the game's best scorers in history is headed to Detroit.
He goes to Detroit. He was told that he would never be asked to come off the bench because of who he was. Didn't go there suggesting that. He was told that.
Allen Iverson not playing for the 3rd straight game because of a back issue. When, if he comes back, he's coming off the bench. How well can he handle that role?
I don't know any franchise players that come off the bench. I don't know any Olympian that come off the bench. I don't know any All-Star come off the bench. I don't know any former MVP that come off the bench. I don't know any 3-time scoring champion come off the bench. I mean, I don't know any first-team All-NBA come off the bench. Why Allen Iverson?
It was a hero's welcome for Allen Iverson in Memphis.
I just felt that this would be the best situation for me in my career.
Just 3 games into the season, unhappy coming off the bench for the lowly Grizzlies, Iverson asks for and is granted a leave of absence. Waived by the Grizzlies, the league's 6th all-time leading scorer in points per game is left looking for work.
Let go. Everybody this way.
Turn around, little man.
That's great right there. I love that.
Basketball has done so much for me. Helped me provide for my family, made me a household name. But I got frustrated with the process of being a free agent. Every time God opened my eyes, I was waking up and asking, like, what's going on? Like, you know, we get any calls? No calls today. You know, and it was wearing at me like it was actually killing me, because I'm waking up every morning, you know, thinking about that, like every single morning.
There was virtually zero market for Iverson this offseason.
The cornrows, the do-rags, the tattoos. When you're becoming a cultural icon, you're making a lot of people upset. And a lot of people can't wait for you to fall down, so now they can step over you.
I'm frustrated. So if I'm frustrated, then obviously my wife frustrated, because she got to deal with me being frustrated. You know, my kids frustrated because, you know, the things that they usually get away with, can't get away with them no more. I just snap automatically, you know. Daddy, why you so mad? Why you so mad? I'm not mad, you know, but, you know, this is the situation, whatever. And I wasn't being fair to them, because I was taking my frustrations out on the people that love me more than anybody. So that frustration led me to the retirement thing.
Nationally syndicated radio host and Philadelphia Inquirer columnist Stephen A. Smith reporting he's been told by Allen Iverson's representatives that Iverson intends to retire from the NBA.
I gotta kiss you, I gotta kiss you, I gotta kiss you, I got to. I thought to myself, man, I can do anything that I want to do with my kids every single day, not leave for weeks at a time, and be frustrated because I miss them so much. Man, look, I need to take him to get him a basketball, man, because he is driving me crazy. How much are they?
12 back.
$12?
Yeah.
I need some money. I'm thinking to myself, I can be happy as hell if I just leave this alone and be a full-time, 24/7 husband and father.
I like the picture.
But then when this opportunity came, the first one was my wife. She said, you gotta take that opportunity.
Allen Iverson has spent the bulk of his career, his identity was Philadelphia 76ers. They need Allen Iverson, and Allen Iverson needs them.
He goes back to Philly trying to recover. And the only tool that he had was his passion for the game.
You know, when I had the opportunity to come back here, you know, it was just something I couldn't turn down. And I'm just happy. The last couple of years has just been hell because, you know, all I want to do is play basketball and, you know, help the guys that I play with. With the mistakes that I made in my life, you know, I created a picture of me is not me. You know, I did a lot of things when I was young that I'm not proud of, but I think, you know, those things helped me to be the man that I am now. I always dreamed about coming back to Philadelphia. It was a blessing from God, you know, being able to come back here and, you know, see that people wanted me as bad as they did.
Allen Iverson will not be back with the 76ers this season. The four-time NBA scoring champ and his family are dealing with an undisclosed illness of his 4-year-old daughter, Messiah. Team president Ed Stefanski said Tuesday that Iverson no longer wanted to be a distraction to his teammates.
According to a report from Basket magazine, Turkey may possibly be Iverson's next home.
I never would have thought that this situation would occur, but it is here. I had a great time playing in the NBA, and who knows if I ever will again, but I'm looking forward to making the best out of this situation. I promise you, it is a happy day for me. You know, I really thought that this day would be a tough day for me, but it's a happy day. I gave everything I had to basketball. Every time I come in this gym, in this arena, I hear my favorite song. Y'all voices. You know, the passion is still there. The desire to play is just not. People ask me all the time, do I have any regrets? And I don't have any. You know, if I can go back and do it all over again, would I change anything? No. I'm proud to be able to say that, you know, I changed a lot in this culture and in this game. Looking the way I look and dressing the way I dressed. It was a blessing just to play one NBA basketball game. I've done a lot in this league. Being 160 pounds coming from Newport News, Virginia. And my family is taken care of for the rest of their life. I mean, what do you mean regrets? What more can you ask for? I'm gonna always be a Sixer till I die. When you think of Philadelphia basketball, you think of Allen Iverson. And I fought for that. I earned that.
Finally, a 6-foot guard from Georgetown, number 3, Allen Iverson.
love you, Philadelphia, for accepting me and let me be me, let me make my mistakes, let me be human, let me learn from them. Just embracing me and making this my home forever. I love you, Philadelphia, the best fans in the world. The best fans in the world.
I saw a kid grow up from absolutely nothing to just about everything. Took all the bumps and the bruises and achieved even with the mistakes. And to go through it with them, it gives you a bit of gratification and satisfaction that God did not have to allow us to have.
I don't care about being misunderstood by the media, but hopefully, you know, my people, hopefully I'm not misunderstood by them. I just want them to say I was a fighter, man, that's it, and a survivor, and willing to get knocked down to be able to get back up.
I told you, Miss Carter. Here we are. Mama, I made it, know how I do it, like the doc do it, I fly through it, that's how I operate. Mama, I made it. Ghetto like the grease when you get your hair braided, sweeter than your sister Kool-Aid is. Hooray, it's the underdog, now my feet under desk, I'm the president you favorite. Can't believe I got away with my earliest stages, to being on stages, having my way.
You ever seen a, no, what I say, what I say?
You ever watch?
You ever watch, okay. You ever watch a big game and say to yourself, no, okay, I see somebody there go, okay. You ever watch a big game and see, what it say? Okay, come on, Al. You ever watch a big game and see somebody do a nice move and say to yourself, I wish I could do that? But it all boils down to one word, practice, practice, practice.
Dreams come true. Yesterday now.
Cause they do, cause they do, cause they do.
Don't you ever stop dreaming. Just keep believing.
Cause they do, cause they do, cause they do, cause they do.
2001 NBA MVP, Allen Iverson.
Let me see if I'm dreaming. Let me see if I'm dreaming. Let me see if I'm dreaming.
Just keep believing.
Let me see if I'm dreaming. Let me see if I'm dreaming. And now it's time to party. Time to party.